my name is Nevaeh Sok, and for my biology role model project, I chose Tu Youyou. Tu Youyou is a Chinese pharmaceutical chemist and was the first Chinese scientist to be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for her work in finding a cure for malaria. She was born and raised in Ningbo, China, and throughout her childhood, she attended Ningbo Private School for Girls. This included primary school up until high school. Unfortunately, during high school, she contracted tuberculosis at the age of 16 and had to take a 2-year break from school. After recovering, she decided she wanted to continue her studies in medicine. After graduating high school, she got accepted into the medical school of Peking University and in the Department of Pharmacy. This is just a picture of her university, Peking University, and this is a picture of her with her professor. In medical school, Tu Youyou studied both Western methodologies and traditional Chinese medicine with the help of Professor Lin Qishou. He helped train her with herbal extractions for 2 years. Unfortunately, I couldn't find many hobbies or any unique hobbies that Tu enjoyed. She was born in an era of war and Mao Zedong's Cultural Revolution where education was frowned upon. And as a result, many schools were shut down. But because she had a background in traditional medicine, she was allowed to continue her studies. And she took this very seriously and enjoyed learning new medicinal techniques. For her scientific research, she studied a wide field of biology, including botany with her herbal medicine, microbiology in her studies of malaria, and medicine in the mission to find a cure for malaria. Her question that she aimed to answer was actually given by Mao Zedong's government, who launched Project 523, which worked to find a cure for malaria per request of North Vietnam during the Vietnam War. The northern Vietnamese troops were taking heavy casualties due to malaria sickness, and Tu was appointed as the head of this project due to her background in both modern pharmaceuticals and training in ancient Chinese medicine. For her more recent work, Tu and her team released a paper called The Study Towards Improving Artemisinin-Based Combination Therapies, and the work was against malaria drug resistance, and the experiment that they conducted was an observational controlled experiment and included creating different compounds with artemisinin derivatives, which included one fluoroanilide, artefanilide, and two sililamides. The different derivatives were then tested on mice infected with malaria, and their survivorship was measured. This figure was taken from their paper, and it's just a diagram of different chemical structures of promising artemisinin derivatives that showed some survivorship rates within the mice. So what's next for Tu? Besides her already finding a cure to malaria, she continues her research with her team. The research in the fight against malaria drug resistance has found some promising artemisinin derivatives. For example, the two sililamides, which were used in their experiment, completely cured malaria-infected mice. And the next steps for Tu and her team are to move forward with clinical trials within their research. Why did I pick Tu Youyou for my biology project? In my opinion, Tu Youyou is the epitome of perseverance and humility. In order to accomplish Project 523, Tu had to leave behind her entire family, including her parents, her husband, and her 2 kids, to go to southern China to deal with malaria firsthand and focus on her career. Even after her accomplishments in her cure of malaria, she refused to take credit when awarded with the Clinical Medical Research Award in 2011 by the Lasker Foundation, and instead appraised her colleagues even though she was the head of this project, as she did it out of the kindness of her heart and not for fame. Personally, I also wish to go to pharmacy school after my undergraduate studies, and my interest in medicine also stems from my family. I am a second generation of an immigrant family, and growing up, I dealt with a lot of medical professionals and had to learn at a young age what certain medicinal terms meant, what each medicine did to help my grandparents, and my interest continues to grow to this day. And as always, Tu is a great representation of the Asian community for her accomplishments, and she is a good role model that I now personally look up to, and I'm very glad that I chose her as my research project, and I will continue to look up to her going forward. Thank you for listening, and these are my resources, and I enjoyed learning about Tu Youyou, and I hope you did too.